script. Whatever. Okay, I'm not going to fiddle with that. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see my screen. Can everyone see desk? It's pretty much all I have here is desk. So what we're going to go over is MOXI. So for those that are new, MOXI Present, it's on desk like all of our tools. Once you click on this and you launch it, it looks like this. So this is MOXI. I always like to do a little maintenance because in MOXI, along with all of our tools, is what's in your profile is what is pulling into your MOXI. So always make sure that this has everything up to date. So it's always, all of our tools, it's always the upper right-hand corner is your account. So I would go here, click on that picture and hit my account. So everything that's pulled over here is from your CB Homes admin profile, but you can override a lot of it. So what you'll see here is this. If you have a picture here, you see that you can change it by clicking on this camera. I can upload a new one.
I've been told 2 or 3 times.
If I click on the pencil, the big blue pencil here, this is where I can edit the info. So you see I have my personal info here. I can put the name. Can you guys mute yourselves? I'm sorry, I can't do it.
What you have to do is look at this deed.
Or if somebody else can mute that person. I'd
Dawn
appreciate it.
Greenridge, mute your mic.
It's Mary.
Thank you. So even if you guys have a team, like I did this for somebody that was doing a co-list presentation one time, you can go ahead for that presentation and put you and that agent on there as if you want to put your name in, it'll pull them both in. You can also pull in another agent, so you don't have to worry about that if you are doing that. But if you did, you always want to have it going forward, you can edit this here. You have your contact info here, which again, you see primary email. I can change any of these, though. These aren't in stone, which some of our other tools they are. But this, you can override anything in here. So just make sure whatever you want the client to see, you have this filled out. And then it has web info here, but that really is your bio. So what I would recommend is stick to bullets. Nobody reads. It feels like we're reading less and less these days. So the more that you could just do keyboard bullets, I think would be great because you get a whole tile of you. So you want to make sure that this is filled out as much as possible. So some of the new features that they did add recently is that you can add your own personal logo in here. So on the left-hand side here, you have this little option where this little squiggly line here, it says my brand. This allows you to upload if you have your own personal logo. What I would recommend is to upload it in both versions. They have one for a light background and one for a dark background. Upload both, and what that will do is it'll actually show right next to the Coldwell Banker logo on your MOXI. Okay, so that's how you would update that. And then once you have that set, you basically are ready to run your MOXI. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and you guys wouldn't have to do this, so ignore this part. I just have to do it because I don't have MLS. Okay, so this is what we're going to do is we're going to run a lot of MOXIs here. So here's how you do it. It's always this create new. This is the main button, create new, the big blue button. And you see you get 4 presentation types. You have your buyer, your seller, your buyer tour, and your non-listing. So the non-listing is basically like a custom presentation. There's no properties included in there. It's not even a template. It's almost like a build your own version. So I am going to go through each and every one of these. So hopefully by the end of this, you are very comfortable with running MOXIs. The buyer tour, this is really popular right now, especially with a lot of buyers who are not wanting to go out and look at properties. This is a great way where you can send them properties. So we're going to go through each and every one of these. I'm going to start with the seller since this is the most popular one. Select the seller and then you hit continue. And now you get your templates. So what I always like to say is if this is your first time ever doing a MOXI, I like to recommend to do the big presentation. So this is the default seller. This is only the CMA pages on this one. What I say to do is go to your region and find the seller's presentation. You see, this is East Coast. So we have the whole state in here. So you have to look for your region. Southeast is SE, Northwest, NW. I'm going to go to the southeast. This is it, the seller's presentation. Now, this is a big presentation. It's like over 50 pages. I think it's like 56, 57, which is a lot. Nobody wants to look at 56, 57 pages. I get it. But the reason I say to do this one is because this literally has everything that you could possibly think of in a seller's presentation that you would want to include. And it's much easier to eliminate these so you can kind of look at it, get an eye for what you like, what you don't like, and easily it's much easier to eliminate this stuff than to try to find this in the library. So I'm going to pick this one, seller's presentation, and hit continue. And then you could put prepared for by. So this could be anything that you guys want. Some people put the address of the property. Some people put the seller's names, whatever preference you have. I'm just going to say seller. And then this is your listing source. So this is where you're pulling in your comps from. So from the MLS, which board are you pulling? I'm going to say Fort Lauderdale. And then you hit create. So now the thing with MOXI to keep in mind is it's a lot of waiting. So a lot of agents, they'll start banging on their computers right now saying it's not working. It is. There's a circle going to start coming in here that's going to spin around. And you wait. It's because their library is so big in MOXI. I promise it's working. Okay, so it pulls it in. So now what you have is basically your page for put in your subject property information. So the ideal way is if the property has ever been on the MLS, it's much easier to just pull the MLS number and it'll pull in all the information. If it hasn't, you will have to pull the property tax records and fill in as much of this information as possible. So for this, I am going to just pull an MLS number. I just literally am on Coldwell Banker Homes. And even if the property is old or hasn't, like I did this for an agent recently and it was 10 years. We just looked up the property to see, and it was obviously the photos were really old, but we took it and still put the MLS number on there and it pulled all the information, and then the agents just went and took their own uploaded new photos. So know that that's an option too. So you see, it pulls all the information in, it pulls even the photos. I can change any of these photos. If I hit this MLS button, I can select a different photo that is on there or featured if I wanted. Maybe I wanted that one instead. If you are doing this yourself from the property records, you have the ability here to put browse, and you can actually pull the photo off of your computer. Okay, and then once you have all of that information in, you can even change the remark. So if you are pulling this from the MLS and you don't like what they're saying, you can adjust these. And then once you're good with that, you hit continue on the bottom. And then now what it's going to do is it's going to take that subject property and it's going to pull comps based on the filters of that property. So you see it pulled in over 170 listings here. So what I always say on this page is these are comps, okay? I wouldn't live and breathe these comps. So if you guys are used to doing comps in the MLS metrics, still do them over there because it's going to be a backup. This really, what I say for MOXI is really a presentation. It's a marketing presentation tool. It helps you become digital to present your marketing listing presentation. And then also it's just another way that it makes you look impressive by how it looks. But don't live and breathe this as a CMA. So what you can do is if you do run this in the MLS matrix, it's fine. What you can do is pull those MLS numbers. And then you see here, I have this ability where I could just pull in MLS numbers into here and pull that in. Okay, when we do our buyer tour, I'll show you how that works. But if you are pulling it on here, just get in a habit of checking these filters. So you're going to want to go over here, hit filter. You see that I have the actives by default. It only goes back 6 months. Sorry, whoever that is, can you mute yourself, please? So if you want to go back further, you could specify it here. And this is why I say is get in the habit of just checking this because you see all of these items are checked. Most of the time, no agent wants to put all of these in here. So you're going to have to come in here and check this anyway. And then by default, it puts a range. This is where it's going to limit my comps, how these filters are assigned. And then once you have that, you can hit apply. It's going to readjust it. And then now I can go and select and here you have the filters too for price and bed and bath too that you could check. Okay, but now to select these comps, I'm going to hover over that picture right where that plus sign is, and I'm just going to click on it. And that puts the comp into the presentation. You see this little number right here is going to go up That's how many comps are in my presentation. So I'm just going to go randomly select a few here, some different ones.
I don't know that.
Okay, so then once you're good with that, you see I have 8 comps in here. I can then go ahead and hit continue. I'm just getting the basic steps down for you guys, and then we'll go and I'll show you other things. And then this is what I like to say is like the display order or like a little cheat sheet. So I like to say to tell agents to use this little box as a great way to see if they're in line with their subject property. Obviously, since I just picked random, mine are very bad comps compared to the subject property. But say, for example, if you see something way out of line here, you can easily come and I see that little X, I can remove it and take it out. Okay, so then you have that, and then you also have the ability to add adjustments. So here I have the ability to say, okay, if I know that a property had a kitchen upgrade recently, I can add that in for whatever it was. Or if they need a kitchen upgrade, you can add that in a positive or a negative. And you see how it adds it in right here, kitchen. It made the adjustment on the price. So know that you can do that for anything. Okay, and then once you're good with this page, you can hit continue. See, it's like 5 steps, they say in MOXI. And now you're at your estimated pricing. So they do this based on the comps that you just pulled in. I can adjust this, like I can change this if I wanted. I can keep it, or I can even create a range. If I don't want them to see a live or breathe price, I can then change this. You know, you could have a range so then they don't lock you into a price. You also have the ability here to add in the net proceeds for your client if they want to see this, but this is something that you have to put in yourself. Okay, because I've been asked, does it automatically do it? No, it doesn't. You have to put this in yourself. And then once you're good with that, you hit continue. And now basically that was your MOXI. So let me show you how this looks. So if you go here, view, and you hit web, this is how you view the MOXI. So this is the link now that to this MOXI. So now you have a link that is a link to this MOXI that you can send out. You can share on social media. You can do anything with that now that you have this link. They would now get this. So anytime that you're in a MOXI presentation and you want to drive it, so every time that pops up, go full screen, you always go full screen because it's going to hinder you. You won't have to then scroll the slides, and you drive it with these arrows. Okay, this is why I say that you want to have your card filled out in your account because you don't want it to look like this where it looks so blah. And then you have basically all of your stuff in here. So then you see that this is 56 pages, like I said. Obviously, nobody wants to go through 56 pages, but you guys can go through here and I'll show you how you can remove pages. Okay, I'm not going to bore you and go through the 56 pages, but what I want to show you, and if you go on this little driver and you have these 3 lines right here, this is where you can go back or skip ahead in your presentation at any point. So really what I want to show you is where the clients really get impressed with this program is really the comps, so the properties. Let me show you why when you see them. So here, like you see how this is all interactive. When I'm hovering over these, I can click on any of these. I could pull it up. I can go through the photos, talk about it. And then if I X out of that, I'm still in my presentation. It's all interactive. I go to the next page. Again, this is all interactive. This is where the clients get impressed. This is why I say this is a marketing presentation tool because this is here to make you look better. Okay, it's not a live and breathe of a CMA or anything, but it's to present properly and in a nice way format. This is one of my favorite pages to see the comps, to see what the differences are. Very clean, very easy way to look at it. You have the comparables here, the status comparisons that they can see everything very clearly. And then here, even the listing averages. So even here, if I just want to say, okay, I only want to show the solds, you can click off of these radio buttons, only show the solds. This is where the clients get impressed, guys. This is what makes the clients go ooh and ah. They get very excited about just playing around with this. Okay, and I can click on any of these dots. If the client was like, what is this way over here, this dot? You could be like, oh, hey, well, let's talk about this. Pull it up. See, it's way overpriced compared to my other one, and then you keep going. Get the idea. And the same thing here. I can click off of these radio buttons, only show the solds, or anything else. You can only show the actives. This is what's making it impressive. And this is what the clients love to see. See the net proceeds, I didn't put anything in here, and then you have getting started. Okay, so if I'm back in my presentation here, this is where all my pages are over here. So this is where I can customize this. So once I go through this and say, I can literally eliminate pages. So once I decide the ones that I want to keep and the ones I don't, I can easily take these out. You see over that little circle with the X, I can remove them out of here. So as I decide which ones I want, which ones I don't, then you really start customizing this. Like here, maybe the giving back. I don't really need to talk about that in listing presentation. You can then decide that. And the great thing with MOXI is once you customize that and take the time to do the one customization of it, you have on the bottom here, save as a template. So then you can save this going forward. And so then instead of using the templates that are in there, which is what I chose, the seller presentation, you can choose your template. So you can pick where you want your template to be. If you only want it to be available in seller, you can have that. If you want it to be in all of them, you can put all, and you could put your title so that you know what it is. So what I've seen with agents, and it really depends on the agent, and I want to point out with this particular package, because they are wanting you to customize this. This puts every single listing concierge package in here. Since they don't know what you guys want to offer, they're putting them all in here. So then you pick and then eliminate the other two, obviously, because obviously we all know if we give the agent the choice of they're all going to pick the platinum. So once you decide which package you're going to offer or present, then obviously you would eliminate the other two. And then that would be always in your presentation. So like I said, is once you create your own template, you have that going forward and you never have to worry about doing this again. So what I've seen with a lot of agents is it really depends on the agent, but I get asked this a lot, so I'm just going to share with you. Some agents don't like to hand out the CMA. They say that that's of their value. That's what they should be signed a contract for. So it all depends on what you're comfortable with. So what I've seen is some agents use the CMA and they leave it separate. So they have a template for the CMA and then they have a template for just the marketing pieces. Like if you notice, this does not have actually this did have a CMA in it. So this does have the CMA in it. So you can decide what you want. If you don't want the CMA in it, you can eliminate all those pages and just have a marketing presentation. So it's up to you, and you can have as many templates as you want. There's no limit on templates. And I'll go run another one right now and you'll see where I pull that template from. Okay, so that's to start. That's just the little stuff that I went through. I didn't even go in depth, but now we'll get a little more in depth. I'll keep running these so you guys get comfortable. And the great thing with MOXI too is there's no like save. It automatically saves as you start creating this. So there's the MOXI, the first one. I can always go back in by hitting that pencil button. And you could skip ahead on the top here. So I can go right to the pages if I want to start pulling in other pages or changing it. And anyway, you have that ability. Also on the home section. So once you hit this home button up here, it goes back to your dashboard. I just want to point out a couple of things. Each MOXI has these little 3 dots. When you hit those 3 dots, you could easily view the web presentation. You could share it. You can email it. You can duplicate it. Computer got stuck. I can even assign it. So when I assign it to another agent, they'll be aware of this. This is why I say always make sure you do a duplicate if you're going to assign it to somebody. Because what it does when you assign it to another agent is it actually leaves your dashboard and it goes into theirs. So you need to make a duplicate or you will completely lose it. You can also add a co-presenter. So if you are doing a listing with another agent, you can basically hit the add co-presenter. The listing presentation will stay in your dashboard. And what it will do is it will pull in their bio into your MOXI. Okay, and it won't leave your dashboard. It'll stay there. It'll just pull in their information. You also have this little quick flyer thing. It's funny, a lot of agents don't know this is here. If I hit this quick flyer, create quick flyer, I'm just going to show you how quick this can be. You see I have 5 layouts for portrait, 2 for landscape. So I can pick whichever one. Let's say if I want this one. I hit select. And now it goes through, like I could put a title. Just make something up. Whatever your title is. You could put the image, so I already have one. I could hit next. I could pick additional images here. And since I did pull this off the MLS, I could literally just grab the MLS images. Can't see these very well, so I'm just randomly selecting. Say if I grab another one, full shot. Okay, so look, I have two. And let's say I did nothing but this. Okay, what did I spend? Like all of 5 seconds on that? Obviously, you guys would spend more, but I just want to show you how fast you can get a flyer. So look, it pulled everything over. This picture looks terrible, so hopefully you would not use something like that. But you get the idea. Basically put my thing, it pulled everything over. I now have a flyer very quickly that I just can download and print at the office if needed. Just know that that's available as well. Okay. So once I showed you all that, let's go back and run another MOXI. Okay, so I'm going to go create new, and you can delete these too. So if ever you get on here and you don't want it anymore, you can just hit delete. It goes away. Okay, so let's run another one. Create new. I'm going to do the seller again. I'm going to show you another seller option. I can hit continue. Now I have the CMA pages. So I'm going to select this one so you guys see what the difference is. Hit continue. I'm going to say CMA. And again, I'm going to pick my listing source. So this is where I'm pulling in my comps, and hit create. And you wait. You're going to wait here for the circle. Okay, so now I'm at my subject property again. So again, I'm just going to use one from the MLS. Pick a different one now. And then paste it in. You hit the copy button here. And if you guys are doing this from property records, just know you just have to put in the information that you want to have comparing in your MOXI. So it's really just the location. A lot of this stuff is these first two lines, and then your pricing down here. So it's not that much if you do have to do it by hand, just so you know. But then once I have that, you see I have my image. So even here, I could pick a different image. Actually, they only have one, so you can't. So then once I'm good with that, I can hit continue. And now I'm back in my comp section. So I want to show you some new other things on this page. You see that I only pulled in 7 listings. This is why I say don't live and breathe this for a CMA, because I've heard of some things going wrong with some things don't show up. It's the filters here, and it's just playing with it. What I think the MLS matrix just does it easier for you guys. So here is like you see my square foot is down. So if I want to expand that, my solds, I can go back more. And then if I don't want to include all of these, then I could hit apply. You see it's only 9. You know what? That multi-family thing is, I think, throwing it off. No, you see what I mean? This is only pulling in 9. I find it hard to believe there's only 9 comps in this area. But another way to just want to show you is if you have in an area that you want to actually search a certain area on the map, you can search directly on the map with comps as well. So if you know you only want to hone in on a neighborhood or certain, you can literally draw it. They have 2 drawing formats, the quick draw, which is just you hold down your mouse and draw. Not the most accurate one, but it gets it done. Or you have to clear that then once you're done. You have the multi-draw, which is more the precise, which is just click, drag, you get it, drag. And then you have your radius one, which just pulls out a big circle. Another really cool feature on here that I want to just point out is the schools. I had to go back and go out. It's sometimes with that map, it gets all weird. Sorry, I went back and went back in. That's why I don't like using this map. You have the school feature here. So what that does is if you have an agent or not an agent, if you have a client who knows that they want to live in a certain school district, you can actually specify that. So if it's a public school that they want to stay close by or only, you can see that. You see the little caps come up, the graduation caps. So if I know that this is the school they want to be in, I can literally hit school boundaries, and then it's only going to pull in the comps for that school district. So know that that's an option as well. I need to reset this because it got all weird. So then once you have your comps, again, you select them by hovering over and clicking. So here, I'm just going to select a few, and then you hit continue. So this really is your most important page right here is the comps page. And like I said, I'll show you how you can pull those in from the MLS matrix, but you see that this scrolls differently than this page. So if you're outside, it scrolls here. And if you hover your mouse, then it scrolls in here. Okay, I just point these things out because I get these questions. So that's why. So if you're ahead of that, I'm sorry. I just point them out because I get questions like that. Then you're next in your display order. So again, this is where you just have your area to show. If you're in line with your comps, if you see anything out of whack, you can easily just remove it like that. And again, you can add your adjustments and all that. They also have a display order. So this is going to show you how your comps are going to come up in your presentation. So by default, it goes active, pending, sold. If you want to show, like say sold first, you can move these around. I could switch it around if I wanted and save it. That's how it's going to come in the presentation. And then you can hit continue. Again, you're in your pricing page. I can adjust this. I can create a range, or I can just leave it and hit continue. And now I'm in my presentation. So how this looks, you see this is only 13 pages. This is strictly the CMA. So again, I can hit view web. And remember, this is a link now. So I think somebody asked how would I use this on social media. So I'll show you. Really, I wouldn't use a CMA on social media, but there's a marketing version you can use. So this is just the CMA. And again, it's just the 13 pages. Okay, so I already went through this with you. I'm not going to bore you with this, but you see it's very clean way of just presenting and sending this to somebody. So, and again, if you want this to be your default CMA or a template, you can even save as a template for this as well. You know, if your agent profile, you can move these pages around in here too. So if you want your profile to be on the top, I can grab this and pull it up. This is really customizable. It gives you a lot of flexibility. Okay, so let's do another. How do I go to the map directly? So if I was going to go back into this, you have to go through the steps. So obviously, if you don't put a subject property in here and you go to search, nothing's going to pull up on your map. But that would be how the search is the map. So all of these are links up here. So you could skip, like if I just want to skip to the pages, I can hit pages. If I want to go back to the search, I can go back to the map and search and add more comps. So you can always go back and add. You see, if I just decide later I want another comp added, I can then go ahead and just add it in. Now there I have 9 in there. So just know it stays for you. It stays, and it's an automatic save thing. So even as you're working it, the thing you don't have to worry about saving anything. It just automatically saves it. Okay, so now I'm going to do another one. Let's go create new. I'm going to show you the buyer tour now. Since this has gotten very popular, especially if some agent or clients don't want to they don't want to go out. And this is what it is. There's only one template for the buyer tour. It's the default buyer tour. I love it. It's simple. It's only 9 pages. Buyer tour. This is where you're pulling in again your comp. So whatever properties you want them to see, that's your listing source. And then you always want to make sure that this is green. The benefit with that being green is that's allowing them to provide you with notes and feedback immediately. So you can't see that when you're on your end on this side, but when you send that off, they can rank the properties for you and you'll get that feedback. which is great. So then you hit create. Again, you wait for the big circle. See, sometimes that circle takes forever. You have to really wait. There it goes. So this shows drive time. So what this means really is if you are going and showing these properties out to your client, if you were going to start anywhere other than the first property, you could put a starting location. Like if you want to put, you were going to meet at Starbucks somewhere, or you're going to meet at the office, you could put this in here and have your starting location. But if you're just sending this off, you're going to start at property number 1, you can skip this basically and hit continue. And now it pulls right to the map, because now what it's asking for is basically what properties you want to put in here. So the easiest way I see this is to put in the MLS numbers. So this is how I do this, would be exactly the same way if you were pulling in, say, your CMA comps, is how I'm going to show you how you pull the MLS numbers. So basically what you can do is just go ahead. Here, these are all kind of around the same price. So I'll take 3 of these. I'll do 3 to give you guys an idea. So what I would do is I would just copy, paste, comma, space. Okay, copy, paste, comma, space. And then one more. And then paste. And then what you would have to do is still hit that magnifying glass to make sure that they pull up. And then you still need to select them. So this is why I say is even if you were doing your CMA and the MLS matrix, this is how you can pull in those comps into your presentation. And then just make sure you hit the check marks on them. That way you know they're in, and that's going to confirm that they're in with that number 3 up there. And then you hit continue. And now what this is going to do is this is going to give you a tour order. So if you were going and showing these properties, and this especially what's once we get out of this COVID situation, if you guys use this buyer tour, this you can send off to the client and they can see where they're. It's a great, I love this buyer presentation. So you see here, it gives you an order, like if you were going to go drive. So I can change this order here. Like you see, it goes 3's way up there. So if I want maybe 3 to be first, go north to south, you see, I could do it and it rearranges it for me. Now it's 1, 2, 3, which makes a little more sense. I could hit save. And again, that's just right there, change order, and changes the map, which you'll see immediately it does it. I could still add adjustments on here as well. I can even edit the remarks. But if I'm fine with that, I can hit continue. And that's it. That was the buyer tour. So let me show you how that looks. View web. Love this because it's only 9 pages. So you see the cover is very boring. I'm going to show you how you can actually make that look a little bit better. So again, screen. And then again, I have my listing. So again, it's going to show you where the properties are located. It gives the overview of each, the side-by-side comparables, and then your status comparisons, your listing averages, days on the market. And again, these are interactive too. I can click on these, pull it up. And then your price and size and your Florida, and so your agent card. So again, if you want, you can move this stuff around. If you want your profile to be at the top, go ahead and move it. These are all, you can move any of these, you can get rid of anything. So let me show you on this buyer tour, because this buyer tour doesn't pull in a picture. So what you can do is you can hit this pencil right here. You see the cover page has a little pencil. I can hit that pencil. It's going to give a title, so I can even give it a different name. I can hide any of these. You see all of these are on show. I can hide this if I wanted, leave it, that's up to you. And then right here, add image. So let's say if this was one of the properties I was showing, and this is where you can upload it. Okay, so these I've already uploaded, just so you know, this isn't like a library that you have. These are, I've uploaded these, so this is why they're in here. You would just hit upload, pull it from your computer, and then hit add. And then you just X out of that. It's an automatic save thing too. You don't, there's no save button. They'll repopulate. Now I have my buyer tour. So know that that's an option too. And then again, when you're sending this, so you can send this directly from here. It says send. and you'll see it pulls up this. So you get two options to send it. You can send it as a PDF or send it as a presentation. I always recommend to send it as a presentation because some of these properties, they have a ton of photos. And what it does when the PDF is it puts all of those photos into your PDF. So what you think you only have like 1 or 2 properties, you can end up with 10 pages just because of photos alone. So some of those email providers will reject that because the PDF will be too big. So send the presentation. Now, to be honest, I don't know where this sends from. I don't know what the email comes from. You guys will have to check this out if you want to send this from here. I recommend to not send it from here. I say go view web, grab this link and copy that, and then you go and put an email together where you're sending this to them on your own email that they are know where it is and they're familiar with your email address. Because this, I feel, I don't know where it sends from. I don't know if it gets lost. I feel like maybe it will. So that's where I would recommend to view that. And again, you can even save this as a template. It's really only 9 pages, so it's not necessarily a template, but there are options for that. Okay, and that would be the buyer tour. Now, some things you can really do for this buyer tour, especially with the situation that we're in. Let me go back in and show you. So because all these COVID situations, and there's a lot more virtual tours coming out, you can even have, so say what I had 3 properties in here and say each of them had a virtual tour. I can even add a page in here of just that. So say here, like say if I had, where would I add it? It doesn't matter, I guess, but maybe I would add it here. I can hit add page. Now I'm going to hit create new, and I'm going to build a page. So you do have the ability to upload a PDF here as well. Just know that whenever you upload a PDF, so say if you have, like, because I know some agents do presentations on PowerPoint, you can upload the whole PowerPoint here. Just know that whatever name is on that PDF is going to show up on this presentation that your client will see. So sometimes PDFs have weird names, but just make sure it's a good name. But for this, I'm going to build a page because what I'm thinking in my head is, okay, maybe these properties have virtual tours. So I can add in those virtual tours for this, for my client to see the virtual tours. So I'm going to select this one and I'm going to hit create. So MOXI really is so easy with adding video. It really is one of the easier ones. So the easiest way to do that is if it's on YouTube. So I pulled this agent just because I know she has a ton of videos. So I went and just grabbed her. How you would do it is open up the video on YouTube and then you grab the URL link up here. You copy this, go back to your MOXI and you hit this video button, and I'll do this 3 times so you guys will see. And then you paste this URL. So you see these are the ones that will accept in the MOXI. If it's outside of these, it will not add. Okay, so if it's a Matterport and it's on a different link, it won't add it in here. It's got to be YouTube, Vimeo, or Dailymotion. And then don't forget to hit the add button on the bottom. Pulls it in. Okay, let me do that again. So again, you open up the video, go find a video. I'm going to open it, copy the URL, go back to MOXI, hit the video link, and paste the URL, and then hit add. There's another one. Oops, wrong one. And then one more. I'll just grab a random one here. Looks like the same video. Okay, copy that. Go back to MOXI, paste, and then hit add. And now you see I'm going to hit save. So when you save this, it's going to ask you to name the page. Again, that name is going to pull up in your presentation. So you want to make sure that you're naming it something comparable to whatever it is. So I'm going to say virtual tours, hit save. And then if I X out of that, save, it wasn't saving. See, I went too fast. Virtual tours, it's right there. And there it is, virtual tours. So now how that looks, let me show you real quick. I just want to show you how effortlessly MOXI does play video. I really love it because a lot of other applications, they get bogged down or they act funny when you add video. MOXI doesn't. And MOXI waits for the user to push the video. So again, I go full screen. And here are my virtual tours now. So even if I want to play this one, and this is the one I'm most interested, I can go ahead and play that. See, it starts playing, very easy. And I could stop, and then maybe I want to play this one. And then you could play it. You see how that goes, and then they could keep going. So this is also a great way to even do like virtual open houses, how you can build that. But this is a great thing to add, especially if you're just handing out for buyers. Now they can have this ability where they see all the virtual tours. They have basically everything included in here on those properties. And then you could send that out. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. I want to make sure you guys are fully comfortable with this. It really is like they say it's 5 steps. It's really just going through and getting comfortable with the process. I want to show you the buyer. There is a buyer presentation on here. Okay, what that is, it's like a buyer's guide. It's not this one. It's not the default buyer. This is, and if you ever question what's included in these templates, you can hit this pull down menu and it'll show you what's in them. I don't know why it says 0 pages. It's not 0 pages. This is the CMA though, exactly like the seller. But you have to have patience when you do this to wait for this thing to stop spinning. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to keep going. Okay, here, the buyer presentation. This is the one say like a buyer's guide. So if you click on this one, I just want to show you what this is so you guys know that this is available. I'm going to put buyer guide. And this doesn't have any comps in it. So I'll pick the listing source, but it doesn't have it included. You can add them, but you'll see what it is. You probably wouldn't add them to this buyer's guide. And then we wait for the circle. So again, like you can go ahead and put a subject property in there. I don't think this one really makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and just skip to the pages so you could see what this is. You see the 26 pages, and I can hit view web, and they're updating all of this for you guys soon. So I know that they're giving a lot new templates for MOXI that look really nice. I got a little sneak peek. I'm going to tell you, they look really nice. But they're updating with the global luxury, and they have a new look and feel, which I think looks really sharp. So this is the buyer's guide. This is basically what they see. So it's everything that you possibly tell somebody of what they need to know before buying a home. You see, you have your agent card in there, but everything, like your search begins. So it's going to go through the purchasing process, it's step by step, obtaining a mortgage approval. All of this stuff it goes through every single thing you can think of. So this can even be something that you maybe use as even a lead capture. Like you guys now have a buyer's guide. You can use this as a lead capture form in InTouch as an idea. Or if you're running any kind of digital ads, you could say free buyer's guide and you're sending them this. Or you can put this on your website. So remember what I told you is everything with MOXI, it has a link. Again, there's even like a huge glossary in here. Like I said, I'll let you guys go through this, but they have exclusive look in here. They have pages of glossary of just every definition you could think of on buying a home. So that's just a great source. Just wanted you to know that that was there. And that's if you just select the first one, buyer. Okay, so now I want to show you because I mentioned some things about links. So also what I want to show you is there's a way, so I'm going to show you 2 more. So I'm going to show you the listing concierge, how that integrates, how they have the 12-minute listing. And then also I want to show you how you could do a little bit custom presentation. Okay, those 2, and then I will take questions. So bear with me. I just want to show you these 2 things because I think these are really important, these 2. Sorry, my computer just went weird. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 12-minute listing. If you guys haven't seen it, I could show you it here today, but I don't want to waste time. I highly recommend that you go onto YouTube and look at how he presents this. Basically, the idea is, and you could literally go on YouTube and type in 12-minute listing. I don't want to take up the class then, but you guys can do this on your own. This is the one I would say. This is Chris McGatt. So he's actually the president of Colorado. He was one of the ones who came up with Listing Concierge. So he basically presents how this 12-minute listing works, and it becomes your listing presentation. Basically what it does is it's just a walkthrough with a lot of added bonuses that he talks about. I think he presents it way better than I would, so I'm not even going to try. But if you want to take a look at it, I highly recommend it. Just know that he's talking about Colorado. So there are certain things in the listing presentation that are not offered in Florida. Okay, because every region has different things. Okay, so then how you find that is basically you find your region. So they have the whole state in here. So again, you have East Coast, Northwest. For my region, the Southeast, you see here, you have the 3 packages, the gold, platinum, and the silver. So you decide which one that you want to present. And then now I select that. So I'm going to pick the gold and pick the one in the middle and hit continue. And I'm just going to say 12-minute. Again, this doesn't have comps in it. You can add them, but I think that for this is really just a marketing presentation. This is basically showing your client what you are going to do to market their property. So I would say don't have the CMA, but it's up to you. If you want to put it, I'll show you how you can add it in. So then we wait. Everything with MOXI is like, it's like the Jeopardy theme song goes in my head every time I'm waiting. Okay, and like I said, this doesn't have CMAs in it. So I'm going to skip this, go right to the top. I'm going to skip all of these pages and just go right to pages. Now, what this has is it has basically your profile in it. It talks about the new look, new name, if you want this in here. But let's say for me, maybe I just want this to be marketing. So I'm going to say they're already sold on Coldwell Banker. They want to know what I'm going to do to market their home. So I'm going to take all these out. Just saying, if this was mine, I would do it like this. And you guys do it how you do it. Like you see, I can even move these around. If I want these on the end, I can move any of these pages around. So let's say if I just want to go straight to the marketing. So now basically I have it like this. It's going right into the gold package. And basically what this does is it goes through every item in the listing concierge. So what they're saying is this now becomes your 12-minute listing, is because now you go and hopefully if you guys have run listing concierge, you're saving some of your samples, because then you would present that in the presentation in person to show them what the items look like. But let me show you how this looks. Now you see here, I have 12 minutes. So I'm going to edit this cover, and I'm going to hit edit this little pencil again and edit this cover. And let's say I want to call this my exclusive marketing plan. Okay, and then I'm going to actually prepared for, I'm going to hide that. I called it weird. And then here I'm going to add an image. And again, these were already images I've uploaded, but you can you would upload here. Let's just say since I'm Southeast, I'm going to add like a waterfront, just a generic image here. And then I X out of that. It's going to repopulate it. See now, if I go and hit view web, now I have this link. This would be something I would share across my social media. This is showing my exclusive marketing plan of what I am going to do to market a property. So this is gold to me of how I would share this everywhere. So some ideas for this, you could put this on your website. You could put this in an email signature and have view my exclusive marketing plan. You can share this across social media now, because now you have a link. And now this could be my link all the time. So basically it lists everything in Listing Concierge, and then it goes through one by one. So it talks about, okay, you're going to get 35 professional photographs. You're going to get high-end property brochures. You're going to get a single property website, the online advertising. I can tell you this is what's different than the Colorado. They did sign text, which didn't work in our area. So we went to online advertising. You get the e-flyer to my database, which I have been building for years. This is basically the idea. You get the TV ad in here. So you get the idea. Again, I'm not going to bore you with all this. But what's important with this is when I hit view and I hit web, I have this link now. So I can copy this link. And let's say for InTouch, okay, I'm going to show you a couple examples of what you can use this link for. If I was going to add this to my website, an idea would be, okay, I would go to website, edit site. You see now I can actually add a page. You see this little add button up here. I can add a page and have that, call that my marketing plan or whatever you want to call it. So you see here when you add a page, you have three options. I have a page, I have a menu item, which is a drop-down menu, or I have a link. So because I'm linking directly to MOXI, I'm going to choose the link. And basically what I'm going to do is paste that URL right in there. Okay, and then now I can call it whatever I want. I can call it my marketing plan. And then you save that. Okay, and then how that looks, I'm going to show you how I did it online. I could hit view site. Now I did agent marketing because I'm being like generic. You could have my marketing. So I hit agent marketing right there. It's now going to go to that MOXI. See, it links right to the MOXI. And now I have my marketing plan, which goes into the whole listing concierge. So that's an option. And again, like I said, is you have this link now. You can share this on Facebook. You can go ahead and add this. I had an agent that did this and I thought it was a great idea. She added it to her signature in her Office 365, which is another option. So on her signature, she added view my exclusive marketing plan. So that's seen on every email that she sends out. So how you would do that is if you go into your settings on your Office 365, you could literally just type email signature. It'll pull it right up. And now above your name, see like right before, I could say, view my exclusive marketing plan. And then what I do is I highlight that, and then that little link button right here, I then paste the URL to the MOXI. So see, it says MOXI, that's my presentation, and I hit OK. And now that's a link that now when I send out my signature, that's always going to be there as a way that they can click on it. So that's the great thing with MOXI, and you could do this for any of your MOXIs. You now have an active link to share. Okay, let me show you one more thing. I want to show you how to do a more customized MOXI, and then questions. I want to make sure I leave enough time for questions. Oh, and let me go back to that exclusive marketing plan. So if you did want to use this marketing plan and you wanted to add a CMA into this, let me just show you how you find this. Because by default, it doesn't have the property pages in here. It's only the marketing. But if I did want to add a CMA to this, let's say wherever you put your thing on, so wherever I highlight, it's going to upload the pages below it. So I can say, okay, if I want my CMA at the end of this, I can hit add page. I'm going to choose add from library. And I just want to point out some things on the library because the library is so exclusive. This way I think it runs so slow. It could be overwhelming. So that's why I kind of told you guys some of the tricks on how to avoid going into this library. But let me just point out where you can find certain things into here. Okay, so by default, where that opens up, those report pages, those are all of your property pages right here. So you see everything here is my property pages. So if I wanted to add in the CMA, I basically can just I go through all of these and hit add. Add, and you get the idea. Just basically just keep adding them in, and those will pull your CMA. So then you can go back in, do your subject property, do your comps, everything, and then that'll add those in. Another thing I want to point out, you see how this brokerage pages, it says over 700 pages in here. This is why I didn't want you guys trying to find in here because this can be overwhelming. A few things I want to point out. I'll tell you guys, if you guys ever want to pull anything out of here, the National Sellers Presentation, okay, this is probably your main go-to. This has a lot of the updated pages. You see the 2020, the number one nationwide is 2020. They have the virtual stuff. Again, that was in 2020. You can add those in. The Real Vitalize is in here. Okay, so if you guys are using the Real Vitalize for your seller presentation, which I got to tell you, that program is getting really very popular. If you guys aren't aware about it, that's a great program to advertise to your sellers. You can add that page in right there. Also, what is in here is the auto web listing. Okay, this was updated in April. That's a new one that was added in there. Exclusive look is in here. So that's why I say is a lot of the here, this national sellers presentation has a lot of the pages that you guys would probably want. The other thing is if you are going to try to add in the listing concierge pages and they weren't in a template that you did and you want to go find them, don't go to this listing concierge here. Go to Florida here. Okay, because that listing concierge up there is generic. You see Florida then has all of our regions in here. So you can choose, they basically have two. Southeast, you see it has visionary, and then down here it has this. This is the global luxury. So you can then choose, if I just wanted the regular, I can just hit it and you see I can pick my package that I want to put in there and then add any of these extra pages. Okay, so that's how you would add those items in. Okay, and then if I go back, you see it added my pages down here. After the seller update, I added the property summary, listing, the Real Vitalize. Those all got added in. Okay, so just so you guys know where to find that. Okay, so I'm going to go through more of a custom. I want to go through the non-listing just to show you guys how you can basically build a more custom presentation. And then I'll open it up for any questions or anything that you guys want to see again. So again, I'm going to hit the create new and I'm going to select the non-listing. Oh, let me point out one thing. I don't think I said this. So when I told you guys in the beginning that you can save as a template, so where you find that, save as a template. So once you do that, how you find that, and then I'll go back to the non-listing. I just want to make sure I point this out. You go to seller. Actually, let me see if I could do this on the non-listing. So wherever you saved it, remember, however, if you saved it in all, then it's fine. You can pull it up wherever. If you only saved it in seller, you got to go to the seller. But where those show up is all the way on the bottom. You have my templates. And this is where all of your templates would be. So there's no limit on the amount of templates that you have. And also know that there is a global luxury presentation in here, which is really nice. They actually are updating it. Like I said, I got to sneak peek. It's really nice what they're going to be doing. But that is available as well for any global luxury person that wants to tackle that. Okay, so for this, I'm going to choose non-listing, hit continue. And I can name this. So I'm going to say virtual open house. And you see a listing source or anything. There's nothing in here. And I'm going to hit create. Or she wait. So you see it basically pulls up 2 pages. I have nothing else in this presentation. So I'm going to build it. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to present a virtual tour. So I'm going to build this presentation. So what I would do is I would add page. I'm going to hit create new. I'm going to build the page. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to do one virtual tour, and then I'm going to do like a property description page. So the virtual tour, since I'm only talking about one property, I'm just going to choose this one and I'm going to hit create. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back onto YouTube. So this would be where you would pull, again, any of your videos. I'm going to go back to this agent just because I know I have her stuff in my MOXI already, so it's easier. Okay, so say if I wanted to do a whole presentation on this property. What I would do is grab the link. I'm going to copy this, go back to MOXI, and I'm going to hit that video button. And then remember, you just paste the URL and then hit add. So here it would be my virtual tour. I can hit save. I'm going to name it that, virtual tour, only one, and then save. Okay, as an option. Now, what I'm thinking as well is, okay, what about adding maybe a property description where more depth or detail about this property? So what I would do is I would hit add page. I'm going to create new again. I'm going to build it. Now, what I'm thinking is, because I know this agent has their own logo, I know I want to add more properties or pictures on the property. So I'm thinking something, a layout like this, and I'm going to hit create. Okay, so like I said, is she has her own logo, so I can hit image. And now there's one thing I want to preference with this, with the logos. The only default with MOXI is that it doesn't let you size an image once you put it in here. So it has to be properly sized before you import it in. Just know that. That's the only downfall with that. So I'm going to select the logo. And again, these were already stuff that I had uploaded. So I'm pulling out of my library, but you would just hit upload. And then you would hit add. So now I have like her logo up there. And now what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to add some more images on this property. You see, basically I can add, and I have them already in here, so I'm just easy to add them in. And one more. Okay, so now you see I'm basically creating like a property description page. So what I'm thinking is one more thing is, let me expand this window, is what if I want to write a little write-up? You see how this hovers. So you see how it highlights there. So that means that you can add in a row. So what you can do is you see that little plus sign right here. Once I have this highlighted, I can hit the plus, and then it's going to ask you how you want to add this. So by default, it's trying to match what you already added. So if I did want to add another layer of photos, I could. You see I can move this around to make it even. Excuse me, losing my voice. But for this one, I'm text. So I'm going to make it one module. It's going to be text, just a write up on it, and I'm going to hit OK. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take basically what she wrote on here, the YouTube. You could take your MLS. And I'm just going to copy this. And then what I would do is go back and hit text. And then you paste it. Now I can even select this. I can go back and reformat it. You see I can make it bigger, can center it, get the idea. But now basically you see here, now I have like a whole property description on this property. So then I could hit save. And that's what I'm going to call it, property description. And then once it saves, you X out. And now basically you see I'm just building this presentation myself. So the last thing that I would do is the cover page. Of course, I wouldn't want to send it like this since it's so blah. I would update the cover again with that pencil. And I would add an image. So here I would go to that add image. Again, I'm just going to take one. It's the front of the building. Hit add. It's an automatic save thing. Once you add it in, you just X out. It'll repopulate. There it is. And how this looks, you see how easy that was. I would hit view web. Now again, I have this presentation that's all digital that I can send to anybody. So I can send to any client that I think would be wanting to purchase this and send it off as a nice way to present. You see here, now I have virtual open house. And then basically if I scroll through, I have the tour, which I could play very easily if I wanted. And then now I have my property description with my logo, a write-up, and then some additional photos on there. And then of course my information. So like I said, is this now has a link that I can send to anyone, or even if I just wanted to highlight this listing and this was my listing that I wanted to just showcase, I can now put this out on social media because now I have a link to where they can go. And the cool thing is with this is what I would always do is if you do that on social media, like you can add links into here. So maybe your write-up on here is you add a link to your website with that listing. So they can go then on that as an option if you did, or you can even add it to your agent profile or however you want to do that. Okay, so that was a lot. I know you guys just got inundated with all this stuff. So let me go through and see what questions you have. Okay, I think I answered some of these. When he says, where can you update your own brand logo? So yeah, this was adding the logo into its own page. If you wanted to add your brand logo, which would show on the cover, that would be in your My Account. You would go to My Account and there's the brand thing. I think I have to switch to show you. So you would go here, My Account. And then here on the left-hand side, it's My Brand. So then once you click on My Brand, you can hit this logo button up here and upload your logo. Okay, and I would upload it just on both because I don't know which one it pulls from, and it keeps you covered if you just have both of them there. All right, what other questions you guys have? Let me go through. Asia asked, so we would use the 12-minute presentation in addition to a seller presentation or in place of? Yes. So it would be in place of. It would basically become your seller presentation. Because the idea is that you would basically do all of that marketing for them, and there's no way then that they could argue and say no. Which I would encourage you guys just to go watch that YouTube of Chris McGatt delivering that. Yes, this was recorded. The recording will show up in the chat.